Hello everybody, Jordan here. The PH is silent. In today's video, I'll be talking about the lore and history of Tharizdun, the Mad God. Found in the worlds of Forgotten Realms and Critical Role, originally this character was from Greyhawk. And I've spoken about Tharizdun a long time ago, like literally the beginning of the channel, almost 4 years ago, and I wanted to dedicate a video to Tharizdun because I have a feeling he might be making a resurgence. Time will tell. Known as the Dark God, the Ender, the Black Sun, he who waits, the Eater of Worlds, the Chained God, and the Elder Elemental Eye, he has a lot of names. Tharizdun was created by Gary Gygax and was based on the dark god Tharizdun, who was created by Robert J. Kuntz. Tharizdun first became part of the D&D universe in the 1982 module, The Forgotten Temple of Tharizdun. Then in 1983, he became Greyhawk canon in the world of Greyhawk fantasy game setting. The Forgotten Temple of Tharizdun was for characters 5 through 10, level-wise, and marked Tharizdun's first appearance or reference into the world of Dungeons & Dragons. Taking place in Greyhawk, the adventurers stumble upon a long-forgotten temple. A temple built in a previous age, a secret place of evil. In a long-forgotten time, a great battle against Tharizdun and his followers took place, and although unable to destroy Tharizdun, they were able to imprison him. How this was done is lost, and all that is known is that Tharizdun disappeared from the plains and was never seen again. The cult of Tharizdun wishes for his release. Using divination spells, they located a black cyst that exists below the temple. Digging below this temple and using various magical means, they found this black cyst. And it looks like a black hemisphere of apparent rock that floats in midair. A huge object, it was believed to be the physical manifestation of Tharizdun, or at least his prison. Covered in a vaporous purple energy, nothing could pierce its walls, not even spells. And generations pass as followers tried to free their god but were unable to. When the last cleric of Tharizdun died, monsters took over the temple as a lair, and a century has passed since then. Monsters still inhabit the temple, but it's changed hands many times. The whole adventure is a classic dungeon crawl to eventually find the Black Cyst, find loot, and get information on Tharizdun. Tharizdun is the god of madness and nightmares of chaos. He was so troubling that the other gods imprisoned him. 3.5 D&D expanded upon Tharizdun a bit with the idea that Tharizdun goes by many names. Worshippers of Tharizdun get power from him, but don't necessarily know they worship him. Worshipping Tharizdun is kind of like worshipping an idea or a cause. In this case, it's entropy, evil, and destruction. The price of this power is your sanity. The more power one takes from Tharizdun, the more they lose a grip on reality. Then in 4th edition, Tharizdun was the cause of the worst place in the multiverse, the Abyss. Information known to mortals because it was documented in the Demonomicon of Igwilv, the story of the Abyss begins with the Oberiths. Oberiths are ancient demons, but possibly more than that. They lived in a dying alternate universe where their life-draining entropy has all but destroyed everything. In order to survive, they needed a new home, and soon discovered a second multiverse. In this new multiverse, there was an elemental chaos, an astral sea, and a prime material plane. Eons ago, they found a tiny door to this multiverse and pushed through it a shard of pure evil. Their hopes are a powerful creature who would take it up and the Oberiths could control that entity, control it to open a path for the Oberiths into the multiverse. It did not happen quickly, but after eons went by, Tharizdun, a hungry for power deity from Greyhawk, discovered this shard of evil. His mind was opened by the Oberiths as he was instantly linked to their minds and their influence. The Oberiths demanded Tharizdun take the shard of pure evil and plant it into the astral sea, the home of the gods. If he would bow down to the Oberiths, they would allow him dominion over the astral sea and his fellow gods. Tharizdun, a bit crazy but also not stupid, knew he couldn't get this shard past the other gods, so he instead flew into the elemental chaos, as far away from the astral sea as he could go, to the deepest reaches of the cosmos, and planted the shard there, in the realm of the fallen primordials. The shard did exactly what it was designed to do, which was to pull the remaining Oberths into this new world, while their old realm collapsed in on itself in the process. Tharizdun now stood face to face with the creatures he half betrayed. The shard began to cut and tear apart the elemental chaos. It was recreating and spreading the chaos, entropy, and evil that was found in the Oberth's home universe. This was the start of the Abyss. The first demons rose up from the primordial substance corrupted by the shard. Tharizdun and the Oberths fought to control the Abyss. Tharizdun was more powerful than before because of his contact with the shard, and he fought a long battle with the 12 Oberths. The 12 faced an evil of their own making that had unbridled strength. After the fighting went on for too long, a stalemate was reached. The fighting stopped, the Abyss settled down, and stopped expanding. And with that, beings who were avoiding the area out of fear were able to be curious. What was this dark terror in their home of the elemental chaos? The Abyss whispered to these creatures, and powerful great primordials answered that call, approaching the Abyss. The whisper was really coming from the shard of pure evil that had buried itself in the bottom layer of the Abyss. It promised whoever could pick it up would have great power and domination over others. These primordials dove down into the Abyss, actually making it to the bottom layer and the shard of pure evil. The shard sat in a blood-red ocean at the heart of the Abyss, and it called out for one powerful enough to claim it. The first to do this was Demogorgon. Tharizdun would have none of this and attack the primordials, but they were too strong for him. Tharizdun set a plan into motion to gather worshippers under the name the Elder Elemental Eye. His goal was to eventually become strong enough to attack these primordials directly and take back the shard. However, the gods in the Astral Sea saw what Tharizdun was up to, and all the deities, fearing Tharizdun's mad power, attacked him all at once. Tharizdun was defeated, but was not killed. He was locked away in a remote abyssal layer separate from the world, a demiplane of sorts. His name was forever changed to the Chained God, so no one could actively worship him. Tharizdun's prison is known as Void Harrow, and as of 4th edition lore, it is someplace in the Abyss, a secret sub-universe locked away in the Abyss somewhere. The shard corrupted his mind, and it is believed his inability to focus is what truly keeps him locked in the Void Harrow. He has his moments of lucidity where a plan to escape starts. One of his more successful plans involves the adventure The Temple of Elemental Evil, a classic adventure that has been reimagined plenty of times for other editions of Dungeons & Dragons. You might recognize it from its 5th edition title, Princes of the Apocalypse. There is an entity out there that spoke to great creatures of elemental energy. Be these primordials or acromentals, they were known as the princes and princesses of elemental evil. Imix the Fire Lord, Ogramok the Mountain That Walks, Yansibin the Shadow of the Four Winds, and Olhydra the Crushing Wave. Tharizdun, through some mad dreams or some other form of communication, convinced these four that they were his creations, and thus gained their allegiance. And I won't go into super details of Princes of the Apocalypse, but there are small Chained God references here and there. And remember, Tharizdun goes by many names. The Temple of Elemental Evil was an old module from 1985 written by Gary Gygax. 3rd edition, there was a return to the Temple of Elemental Evil, a reimagining written by Monty Cook of Numenera fame. There was a novel, a PC game, and now a board game, all using the same title. If you are curious about the original game, Goodman Games has been releasing old D&D 1st edition adventures as 5th edition adventures. The Temple of Elemental Evil is one of them that is said to be released early 2021. If it is released, I'll try to put a link down below. Those are really fun books because they give you a hardback book that has the original adventure and then the 5e conversion as well. So you can kind of see how older editions handled things. Tharizdun pops up in Ghosts of Saltmarsh as the Chained God. He appears in Princes of the Apocalypse as the Elder Elemental Evil, and Critical Role's Wildmount. He makes for a great warlock patron, despite that he is a deity, but he's a deity with an Oberth mindset, I suppose. Tharizdun is the god of decay and madness. His goal is the destruction of the universe, reducing everything to nothingness. His symbol is a dark spiral, or sometimes an inverted ziggurat. Thanks for watching, everyone. Thank you for liking and subscribing. If you enjoy this channel, please tell your friends if you think they would enjoy it as well. Every subscription really means a lot to me, and I super value your support. Patrons, you are amazing. Thank you again for helping me keep the lights on. I'll be back next week with more D&D lore, and I'll see you all in the next video.